Hello and welcome back to Afterglow episode 102. For this episode, we're going back to the NES again to check out a game that's not talked about very much anymore. I actually enjoy this game quite a bit, although it does get heavy-handed with a few things, which we'll talk about as we get into the episode. But it's not a bad game, and it's not talked about a whole heck of a lot at all anymore, which is kind of surprising to me. And what's funny is I was going through some YouTube videos of this game too, kind of looking at what other people thought of this episode. And I saw so many people struggling with like the first level, and I'm here like, I don't remember the game being that hard. I remember like the Game Grumps were really struggling with the first level boss, and again, I had no problem with them. So I don't know if this is just one of those things to where whenever you learn those patterns as a kid, they just stick with you, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, we'll be going after our music break to talk about Wrath of the Black Manta. And welcome back. So this game was a loaner game that I had gotten as a kid. Of course, as I've said in many different episodes, as a kid I swapped cartridges with these all the time, and this is one of them I got. And honestly, it's not too bad. You play as a ninja known as the Black Manta, and your primary attack is a throwing star attack. It is a side-scroller. You also have a tiny, I think it's a sai, the tiny little blade that you can use to attack if you're like up close to an enemy, which gives you a very satisfying high-pitched scream noise whenever you make contact with it. On top of that, you get ninja abilities, and you can equip 4 at a time. They are used by holding down, I believe, the B button to charge, and then you either let go of it by itself, or while you're holding it down, you can press down, up, or left and right will do the same thing, and that's how you choose between one of the 4. And there's a lot of them in here. There's another one that'll make like a shadow version of you pop up over your head and gives you like a double attack, which is kind of cool. There's one that does this like fire rain from the sky. There's one that just allows you to shoot a fireball straight forward. There's this weird spider one that allows you to go underground in certain areas and then pop back up. All these abilities come in really handy in the game. So as you progress in the game, there are certain enemies that are colored a little bit differently from the other enemies. And those enemies, if you don't take them down, but instead walk up to them, you'll get them in what looks like a Nelson. And you can interrogate them. That's kind of where the game starts going downhill, is the story. Because the interrogations in this game, 1, can be incredibly short, or 2, they can be incredibly heavy-handed. There's many times where you'll interrogate a guy, it's like, tell me everything you know, and the guy's like, I don't know anything, and that's the interrogation. Yeah, apparently you let him go. A little bit of controversy in these interrogation sections as well, because you'll see a large, really good-looking sprite image of the guy's face. But later on down the road, it was actually leaked out that these faces are literally carbon copies from a Marvel Learn How to Draw book. There was a Learn How to Draw book released by Marvel, and a lot of the sprite artwork for the giant headshots in this game come from that book. So, straight up plagiarism. That's not good. And it was obviously not as well known back then. Because even if you found out back then, there's no real internet to put this stuff out there. So it wasn't really widespread until, the internet became a big thing and retro gaming became a big thing, and finally someone made that connection. But even if someone knew back then, there was no real way of spreading it out, so the developer definitely kind of got away with it. But as I had mentioned earlier, the game can be heavy-handed with its message. Yes, there's a message to the game. If you've played Narc on the NES or in the arcade, you know the message. This is an anti-drug game. It's not very clear at first, because when the game opens up, you are called by your sensei, I believe, which the phone call is kind of interesting, because you're in your full ninja garb get-up whenever you answer the phone. But he wants you to investigate a string of kidnappings, and apparently the CIA and the FBI can't do anything, the game mentions. So, as you begin rescuing some of the kids in this game, you find out they're being kidnapped. That way this gang can turn them into junkies, and then, after they're junkies, make them drug dealers. Weird way of doing it, because typically you don't want your dealer getting high off their own supply. But anyway, it is so heavy-handed. There is one point in the game where you rescue someone, and your Manta guy is all like, "You're not on drugs, are you?" And the kid's like, "No, of course not." And he's like, "Oh, you should never get on it. They will mess up your life forever." And the kid's all like, "Oh, I know. I'd never do something like that." And the Manta's all like, "That's good, because blah-de-blah." And this cutscene feels like it goes forever. And honestly, it's probably not that long. It's probably only like maybe a minute or two. And I'm gonna preface this by saying I am not a drug user. My addiction is definitely gaming, but this cutscene went on for so long, I was tempted to take a hit off a joint after the end of it. It was ridiculous! Especially for an NES game. It's like, get on with it! So, storyline is really not good in this game, but the gameplay is fun. As I mentioned before, you get your ninja arts in the game, and there are some broken parts in the game, but that's also what makes it fun. The levels are not quite all left or right. You'll have areas where you'll go vertically, up or down, and you'll have sections where you'll need to backtrack. And you'll find doorways in the game. You enter the doorways, and you'll be put into a room, and the room will either, 1, it'll be empty, so it happens. 2, there will be a item in the room, like maybe a note that'll give you a clue, or maybe just a life up. Which the life up is actually not the life up you're looking for, and I'll go into that later. But the note will sometimes give you a clue, and it'll be like hidden spot left by the drum or whatever. So you'll go over to the edge of the screen, and you'll try walking past it, nothing will happen. But if you jam on your attack button really fast, it will take you into a hidden area, and you'll get some bonus items and whatnot, which are kind of unnecessary. Sometimes you'll get something kind of cool, which will increase your ninja arts charge meter. All this does is extend the time of some of your special arts, how long you can do them, or it'll increase how strong they are whenever you fire them if it's like a weapon-based one. But it can come in handy, especially the shadow one, where you can make the double, because it'll make that one last quite a bit longer the more you charge it, and of course your charge is limited to how full that meter is. The third one, though, whenever you go through the door, that's the big one. There will be 2 enemies in there, and then the third one will come through the door. But after you defeat all 3, you'll get a little bit of life back. So the trick is to immediately walk out from the door, that way you don't take a hit, take out the 3 bad guys, get your life back, leave the room, re-enter the room. The baddies are back in there, you take them back out, you get the life again. So you can instantly max out your life in just like 15-30 seconds. And of course, the other thing you can find in the room sometimes is a kidnapped kid, where you'll go in there, there will be this like blue, looks like an ice block with the body in it, honestly, in the corner. But you take out the bad guys and you rescue the kid, and sometimes there'll be a quick discussion between the two, and sometimes there'll be a long drawn out one that will grate on your nerves. But honestly, it's funny that I mentioned that, because the other downfall to this game, in my opinion, it's too short. There's only like 5 levels to it, and once you learn the game, you can burn through it in 30-40 minutes. It is not a difficult game. It's one of those games that I would call the perfect rental game. One of those games that you can rent, beat in a weekend, and be done with it. It does have some cool moments, though. On top of the platforming, there's one mode where it will put you in a first-person perspective, and you have to throw ninja stars at enemies that pop out. So I like seeing different gameplay mechanics in NES games, something that tries to mix it up a little bit. I love seeing that. And the other thing that's kind of cool that it does, it'll have these enemies on these glider-looking things. Well, you can defeat an enemy on a glider, jump on their glider, and they'll put you in like a side-scrolling section. Your sprite's still huge, and you're using your fireball ninja art to attack for the most part, or ninja stars, but you want the fireball, because the fireball takes them down in 1 hit, and the ninja star takes 2 or 3 hits, and by the time you take an enemy out, they're probably doing damage to you too. Now, you do have to kind of eliminate your thought of logic in here, because you are flying to the right where the enemies are flying to the left. Not sure how that works in the glider. You'd think everyone would be flying in the same direction following the air current, but just delete your logic for a bit. Remember, it's a video game and have fun, right? But yeah, like I said, the big thing behind this game are those ninja arts. It's so much fun just to swap out ninja arts and change your plane of attack and everything. It is such a cool little thing to this game. Which brings me to the final boss, which is kind of the downfall to it. Because you're required to use 4 certain ninja arts in a certain order to beat the final boss. It's kind of a trial and error thing, although there are clues in the game that kind of tell you what to do and what arts to use and whatnot if you go through it. But I was really hoping maybe the game would be open enough to where you could use your choice of a combination of ninja arts to take him out. Because, more or less, he starts out as a jukebox, which is weird, but you hit the jukebox and he turns into your final boss, and he's carrying a hostage. If you hit the hostage, you immediately lose a life. But if you use your combination of ninja arts in the right fashion, you can beat him. Just be careful, because if you don't use your ninja arts and you try to jump up and use ninja stars, he will actually regain life from being hit by ninja stars. Do I understand the logic behind that? Nope, not at all. I mean, I do enjoy the fact that you do have to use a variety of ninja arts, although I feel like they should have made it more of a thing to where you could mix it up. He would have certain offensive and defensive techniques, and you could use maybe 1 or 2 of your ninja arts. You choose how to use it in order to beat them. That being said, I did enjoy my time with this game quite a bit. I do need to try the Japanese version, though, because apparently over here in the US, we lost an entire stage. Kind of a bummer on that, really. But yeah, there was an entire stage that we lost that is still in the Japanese version. So I really want to go back and play the Japanese ROM of this and check out that other stage, because that is one of my complaints of this game. It's too short. But if you listeners want to check out that version, apparently it is called Ninja Cop Saizo. Looking at it, it looks like it's the second stage in Ninja Cop Saizo that was completely removed in Wrath of the Black Manta. And there's apparently a exclusive boss that's not in this one either. And there was a boss rush at the end of the game. Also, the final boss is apparently completely different, so I definitely want to eventually go back and check out that Japanese version. But that'll close out this episode. Thank you for listening to me rambling about this game that not very many people remember anymore, but I do enjoy. It's definitely got its flaws, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with having a game that has, a few flaws that you can still kick back and enjoy and play. Especially if it's one, like I said, you can run through it in the weekend, you enjoy your time with it, and you move on. So, with that being said, we're going to listen to a little bit more music before we start rolling the outro. As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Afterglow. 102 episodes, man. I'm shocked that we've made it this far. We're going to keep rocking this show out. Thank you, of course, for listening. If you're interested in more podcast goodness or more Afterglow goodness, be sure to check out the show notes where you're going to find a link tree. And in that link tree are links to all kinds of different things. You got friends of the show, plenty of other shows to check out and listen to. There's a merch store for myself as well as a Patreon if you want to grab an Afterglow t-shirt. If you do, drop in the Discord and send a photo of that, because I don't think anyone's bought a t-shirt yet. I would love to see that if anyone actually did that. I actually need to buy one for myself. You'd think I'd do better advertising, but it's a hobby. What can I say? On top of that, though, join the Afterglow Discord if you haven't yet. It's growing very, very slowly. We're getting some few people in there here and there, but I would love to see that thing blow up. It would be so awesome just to have another community of us just talking about these old fun retro games. As always, we have to do a couple of special shout outs. One to TobyVonDoom from Secret Levels. He's the guy that did the show logo. It looks beautiful, and I gotta thank him for that every time. And also Grim from the Lost and Gone podcast, as well as the upcoming Grim Glow, which I've been teasing for months. I promise it will be coming out eventually. We did have some issues behind the scenes with losing the hardware that we were recording with. So we lost our first episode. We've had to completely re-record it and redo it, but it's going to be worth the wait. Of course, Grim did the intro and outro music for Afterglow, and I got to thank him for that every time as well. But of course, if you want to listen to other people, there's a bunch of other podcasts out there that put out awesome content, and a few of them would like to kind of push what they're doing to try to get you to listen right now.
Hello and welcome to the Reviews Brothers. It's me, Martin, and you can join me on YouTube where I have hundreds of videos covering a huge range of video game topics. I've got top 10s, hidden gems, console-focused A to Zs, as well as dedicated videos to topics like Doom mods, 3D platform games, ninja games, pirate games, and more. I cover all systems from Commodore 64 right up to modern consoles. Nothing gaming is off the table. So be sure to search for the Reviews Brothers on YouTube as well as on Instagram and TikTok for hundreds of retro and modern video game reviews.
Afterglow listeners, it's me, Keith Gasper, coming at you from the #1 retro gaming podcast, the Main Quest Podcast. Come hang out as a guest and I play and discuss a game from the backlog of my childhood. We're talking about our history and the history of the game, and if it's worth checking out today. We're talking about games from the NES, the Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx, Game Boy, and much more. And that's just on the main feed. If you enjoy what you're hearing on Afterglow, you're going to enjoy the Main Quest, and I'm happy to have you. Find the Main Quest on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Spotify, and wherever great podcasts are downloaded.
Hello, my name is Aaron. I'm one half of Super Pod Saga, a topical variety video game podcast fueled entirely by nostalgia and unleaded gasoline. Super Pod Saga, we discuss a different video game topic each and every week. We have new episodes every single Monday covering a different video game topic. More than anything, we want to entertain our listeners and make you feel like you're one of the boys, like you're hanging out at a campfire with some of your best zany, caffeine-powered buddies and just talking about your favorite games and all that stuff. Stop on down to Super Pod Saga. It's on every podcatcher there is. If it's not, let me know and we'll get on it. Again, Super Pod Saga, stop on by.
Hey, this is Toby, one half of the Secret Levels podcast. We're a podcast that goes over old retro games. We go over the history, the story, the gameplay, some fun facts. We even rage a little bit. And then we go and give it a nice 1 to 10 rating to let you know if it's still worth playing. We have over 200 reviews for games on the NES, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and many other consoles. You can find us on all the major podcasting apps, such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you can follow us on social media at Secret Levels Pod. Game over, folks.
For more than 15 years, Retro Gaming Roundup has been the centre of your retro gaming universe, with top 10s, interviews, game reviews, news, and much more from all over the globe. Be sure to tune in every month for a new dose of Retro Gaming Roundup. That's RetroGamingRoundup.com.